Mr. President, Louisville's mayor sent you a letter urging action on gun control. Senator McConnell also getting pressure in that regard after the mass shootings. What are you prepared to support in terms of gun control?
Well, we're doing background checks. We already have a lot of background checks. You know, we've done the Fixed NICS program and a lot of other things, but we're doing some loopholes and we're doing some changes, and I think it's going to be quite good. I think it'll be very popular with a lot of people. We always have to protect our Second Amendment, very importantly. We have to make sure that there's no slippery slope where they end up taking your protection away. We won't let that happen. And we're working very much with Mitch and everybody else on getting something done that's meaningful, but that really protects gun owners, because that's very important. Because, you know, if you go along a certain path, you won't have any form of protection. You won't have your Second Amendment. And with me, you're always going to have your Second Amendment. You have to remember, and I think it's very important to say, the gun doesn't pull the trigger. You know that. It's the person that pulls the trigger. And we have a tremendous mental health problem, and we're going to be working on that as well.
You're about to talk to a bunch of veterans. I talked to several yesterday, and their big concern is health care for veterans, access and quality. What are you prepared to tell them about that?
Well, we've done a lot for the vets, especially with choice. You know, before I came, you didn't have Veterans Choice. Now you have Veterans Choice, which nobody in their wildest dream really thought. They've been trying to get it for 44 years, and I got it for the veterans. So the veterans are liking me a lot, and I like them. So now if they have to wait online, you know, they were waiting 3, 4, 5 weeks to see a doctor. Now if there's a wait, they go out, they see a doctor. We pay for the cost of it. And it's the least important thing, but frankly, we save money and we take care of our vets, and that's a good combination.
You're here, of course, also to support Governor Matt Bevin. Does he need your support to win next fall?
Well, I don't know, but he's been a terrific governor. He's really done a good job. In fact, he's done such a good job that some people weren't happy. He had to straighten out the pensions, or the state was going to have a lot of problems. And he really has worked very hard. He loves the state, as I do, and he asked me to come, and I'm coming for him and in his honor.
You'll return again in the future for a larger rally?
Well, I'll be in Kentucky a lot, including for Mitch. You have a great gentleman in Mitch McConnell. I mean, he's done more for the court system. You look at what's happening. We'll have 150 federal judges appointed, approved, all through the Senate. We'll have 150 within a couple of weeks, and we'll end up with 179 before we start going again, and nobody thought this was possible. And, of course, 2 great Supreme Court judges, and Mitch McConnell and I worked on that very hard.
You're very popular in Kentucky. You didn't win Louisville, though. What do you do to appeal to urban voters, to get them to take a look at you and your policies and to some of the ways they view you, which you know?
Well, I used to bat with a Louisville Slugger. No bat like it. So I used to use a Louisville Slugger. So maybe they know that and they feel differently. I think that we're doing very well in Kentucky. I mean, I'm many, many points up and, you know, really at the top of the heap in that sense. And I love the people of Kentucky. And I think we're going to do very well, I think, just generally speaking. And that's why I'm here. I mean, Matt asked me to come and see if we could help him out. And he's in a very tight race, but I think it's a race he's going to win because he's really been a great governor.
What do you say to appeal to African Americans who look at you skeptically, frankly?
Well, I think with the African Americans, our poll numbers have been very good. We have the best job rating we've ever had in terms of unemployment numbers. The unemployment for African Americans are the lowest they've ever been in the history of our country. And if you look at jobs, we have almost 160 million jobs for the country, the highest number we've ever had. So also criminal justice reform, I got that done. Nobody thought it could be done. I'm the one that got that done. You know, with all the talk you hear about other people and other people that are going to do it, I'm the one that got criminal justice reform done. And opportunity zones, I got that done with Tim Scott, very largely with Tim. Tim is a fantastic man who's, as you know, a senator from South Carolina. And we worked on that very hard. And opportunity zones have been incredible. And African American folks just think it's incredible what's happened. But lowest unemployment number in history for African Americans.
Your final word, message to the people of Louisville and Kentucky as you come to our state again.
Well, it's a state I love. It's a state I've won by a lot. I mean, you know, not by a little bit, by many, many, many points, as you know. And far beyond the relationship just to Republicans and Kentucky. It's a special place. I have so many friends here, and I expect to do very well in Kentucky. I hope so.
One last question.
Yes.
We have an opioid problem here, as you know. What are you prepared to do to help with that serious addiction problem many Kentuckians are suffering?
Right. We're spending billions of dollars. I have billions of dollars approved. And as you know, we're down about 17% from what it was a year and a half ago with the opioid, and opioid's a serious problem. One of the things we're doing is trying to come up, and we're pretty close, I think, to a painkiller that's not addictive. This opioid stuff is just horrible. You go to the hospital, you have a broken arm, you end up being a drug addict. You're addicted so quickly. So we're working on, through various things that we do, including grants of money, and it's really at my direction. I want to come up with a painkiller that's not addictive, and we're very close.
Mr. President, thank
you
you.
very much.
Nice talking to you again.
Great interview.
Enjoy your stay here.
Thank you very much.